When I moved into Whispering Pines Estates, I thought I'd found peace and quiet. The streets were lined with manicured lawns. Garden gnomes peeked out from flower beds, and everyone smiled just a little too much. But lurking behind those cheerful waves and clipped hedges was the iron grip of the Homeowners Association. And leading that grip with a smug smile and a clipboard was none other than Karen Myers, the self-appointed enforcer of community standards. Karen wasn't technically the HOA president. She was just the secretary, but she walked around as if the entire neighborhood were her personal kingdom. If your trash bin was still visible 2 minutes after pickup, she'd be snapping pictures. One neighbor got a letter for non-uniform patio furniture. Another got fined for unauthorized flag placement. And now it was my turn. It started innocently enough. I came home one Tuesday to find a folded slip of paper under my windshield wiper. I unfolded it. What I assumed was a friendly note turned out to be a violation notice, * improper vehicle parking. $75 fine. Please remit to HOA P.O. Box within 14 days, *. I blinked. My car was parked directly in my own driveway, not on the lawn, not blocking anything. There wasn't even street parking involved. It didn't make sense. I reached out to the HOA board, thinking it was a simple misunderstanding. But Karen answered my email within minutes, * you violated Section 4.3, excessive vehicle presence during restricted hours, Monday, 8 a.m., 5 p.m. Please refer to your handbook, * I checked the handbook. Section 4.3 didn't even exist. That's when I got suspicious. Over the next week, more tickets appeared. One for garden overgrowth when I had just trimmed my hedges. Another for unapproved lawn ornament, it was a birdbath. And even one for holiday decor out of season because of a pumpkin on my porch in January. It felt targeted, personal. I started talking to my neighbors. Turns out I wasn't the only one. Greg on the corner got a $100 fine for window glare. Tina, a single mom 2 blocks over, got cited for a non-compliant mailbox font. Something wasn't right. One evening, I decided to take a closer look at the tickets. I compared them to the official HOA violation forms. There were differences, subtle but real. The headers were off. The language oddly aggressive, and the payment address wasn't the HOA office. It was a P.O. box I didn't recognize. That's when it hit me, Karen was making these up. She was writing fake tickets, impersonating the HOA, and collecting money. I couldn't believe it, but I was about to prove it. I wasn't the type to jump to conclusions, but this wasn't just suspicion anymore. It was borderline fraud. I had 4 fake tickets in my possession, all supposedly issued by the HOA, but none of them matched the real documentation. Karen had created her own version of citation forms. Her version had bold red text, immediate action required, and demanded payment to a random P.O. box, not the HOA's actual address, which I double-checked in our handbook. I needed proof. Real proof. So, I did what any self-respecting neighbor with a chip on their shoulder would do, I became a full-blown suburban sleuth. First, I called the official HOA office and asked them to verify my violations. After a few moments of typing, the rep on the phone paused. "We have no record of any active violations on your property," she said. "Are you sure these were issued by us?" That was the confirmation I needed. I made photocopies of each ticket and highlighted the fake address. Then I started asking neighbors if they'd received anything similar. At first, people were hesitant. They didn't want to get involved, but once I showed them the discrepancies and mentioned the possibility of Karen pocketing the fines, they started opening up. Turns out at least 6 households had received similar citations. Greg, who had paid 2 fines totaling $175, was furious. "She cashed those checks, man, they cleared," he exclaimed, digging through his online bank statements. Sure enough, the checks were made out to K. Myers, not the HOA. That was the smoking gun. I collected every piece of evidence, photocopies of tickets, screenshots of emails, bank transaction records. It was all beginning to form a pretty damning picture. Karen had used her position as HOA secretary to fake violations, fabricate tickets, and reroute payments into her own account. Now, I needed to take it up a level. I scheduled an appointment at City Hall. The Code Enforcement Department dealt with HOA disputes all the time. But when I laid out everything on the table, the fake forms, the incorrect P.O. box, and the cashed checks, they leaned forward, their expressions tightening. "This isn't just an HOA issue," one official said. "This could qualify as mail fraud, an impersonation of a governing body. You've done your homework. We'll need to open a case." I walked out of that building with a nervous grin. I had no idea where it would lead, but I knew one thing for sure: Karen was in trouble. It didn't take long for the winds to shift. Word spread fast in Whispering Pines. After all, this was a neighborhood where people complained on the HOA Facebook group about the color of someone's mulch. So, when Karen stopped getting quiet compliance and started getting angry questions, she must have sensed something was off. I tried to keep a low profile, but subtle wasn't in Karen's vocabulary. 3 days after my visit to City Hall, she showed up at my doorstep. She didn't knock, she banged. I opened the door to find her standing there, lips tight, arms crossed, and her signature clipboard clutched like a weapon. She didn't even greet me. "Is there a reason you're spreading lies about me around the neighborhood?" she snapped. I kept calm. "Is there a reason you're writing fake tickets and pocketing HOA fines?" Her face flushed, but she quickly recovered. "You have no idea what you're talking about. I'm authorized to issue citations." "No, you're not," I said. "I spoke with the HOA board. You're just the secretary, Karen, and I've already turned in the paperwork to the city." She blinked. That's when I knew she was scared. For the first time, she didn't have a quick answer. "You're making a big mistake," she said, her voice now quieter. "You think they'll care about a few little forms? Everyone complains about me, but no one ever does anything. You look crazy." I smiled. "They already opened a case. I think they care." Karen stormed off without another word. Within a week, things escalated. First, someone tried to egg my mailbox. Missed, but it left a mess. Then, I started getting anonymous warnings on my door, typed, unsigned, vague threats about not understanding how things are done here. Clearly intimidation tactics, but I wasn't backing down. City Hall called me back for a follow-up. Apparently, the P.O. box Karen had been using was registered under her full name. She hadn't even bothered to mask it under a fake LLC or organization. Just straight-up blatant theft. That made things much easier for the city attorney. "She's looking at multiple code violations," the investigator told me. "And if enough neighbors come forward, it could turn into a criminal case." So, I organized a meeting, not an official one, but a little Saturday gathering at the community center. I invited every neighbor who'd been ticketed. About 20 people showed up, most holding their own stack of fake citations. It was like a suburban support group. They were angry. They were ready. We took a vote and drafted a formal complaint to the HOA board, demanding Karen's removal and a full audit of all her actions. We had momentum now. Karen wasn't just in trouble anymore. She was in real danger of being exposed on every level. It was a bright Monday morning when I got the email, *City Code Enforcement Final Report filed. Please attend the hearing this Thursday, *. The city was moving fast now. Karen's actions weren't just a breach of HOA protocol. They'd crossed into criminal territory, misuse of public trust, mail fraud, and misappropriation of funds. And she'd left a paper trail so obvious a middle schooler could have cracked the case. Still, I felt that uneasy blend of excitement and nerves as I walked into City Hall Thursday morning. It wasn't just me. A dozen neighbors came, too: Tina, Greg, Mrs. Henley from down the street, even old Mr. Yates, who hadn't left his porch since 2019. We were the unofficial HOA reform committee, and we were ready to see this through. Karen showed up 20 minutes late. She looked different. No clipboard, no smug expression, just pale, tight-lipped, and carrying a folder that looked way too thin to defend herself. The hearing wasn't dramatic. It wasn't like something from a courtroom drama. But it didn't need to be. The evidence spoke for itself. The city investigator laid everything out, over 24 fake violation forms, payments traced directly to Karen's personal bank account, unauthorized use of HOA letterhead and seal, harassment complaints filed by residents. Karen tried to play it off as a misunderstanding at first, claiming she was temporarily collecting fees while the HOA was transitioning systems. But the investigator wasn't buying it. Neither was the city attorney. In the end, the city issued multiple fines: $5,000 for mail fraud, $2,500 for misrepresentation of an official body, $1,000 in nuisance and harassment violations, and more possibly criminal charges were being reviewed at the county level. And just like that, Karen was done. By the following week, the HOA board voted unanimously to remove her from any official duties. The community had spoken loud and clear. We even started working on new oversight measures so no one could abuse their position again. Greg got his money refunded. Tina did too. And as for me, I was offered a spot on the new HOA oversight committee. I declined. I've done my civic duty, I told them. I just want to park in my driveway in peace. Life went back to normal. Lawns got mowed. Kids rode bikes. And for the first time in years, no one got a bogus fine for having a flamingo statue. And sometimes, just sometimes, when I walk by Karen's now silent house, I smile. Because in the world of HOA drama, justice is rare. But this time, we won. If you've ever dealt with a neighborhood Karen or shady HOA tactics like this, hit that like button to show you're not alone. And if you enjoyed watching justice finally get served, make sure to subscribe for more real stories, petty revenge, and satisfying takedowns. Got a story like this? Drop it in the comments. I might feature it in the next episode.